Welcome, welcome. And we got Jackie. She made it
I was having all kinds of tech issues.
just in the nick of time. Welcome, everybody. I wasn't sure a couple minutes ago if we were even going to be able to pull this off, but it's just that's the way computers work. When you want them to, they don't.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds
I've
like
been trying since
sounds like a human
2:30
being.
to sign on.
Yeah, that's right. Well, good to have everybody. I'm still up in the Northwest. You can see my dad's old fishing gear behind me here, his fly rod and his tackle box. And,
That's awesome.
so other than that, September's coming. It's here. There's all this Fannie Mae foreclosure stuff that everybody says is coming down the road. What do they call it? The forbearance is all going to reset, and we're going to end up with all these homes, and there's just another seasonal wave of optimism coming that the market's going to get better. Interest rates are going to go down. So I just kind of wanted to spend a little time on that today. So what say you?
We'll see. What do you have to say first? You're always the Nostradamus.
Put a little pressure on me. Well, let me start with this. This is our active listings. They went up just a little bit, but they're going to come down because of Labor Day weekend. They always do. They always come down on Labor Day. On every holiday, the listings tend to tick down. The interesting thing is that we have more contracts than we do listings right now, new listings that come on. But again, that's because expireds spiked up to 850, which they always do at the beginning of the month. But I wanted to look at a couple numbers here and then ask a really pointed question. Here's our year-to-date canceled listings. 15,232 listings were canceled so far this year, compared to last year of 11,000. Then I look at expireds, and we've got 4,300 expireds. You've got almost 20,000 homes that came, saw, and went. In other words, I gave it the old college try. I either canceled it or I let the listings expired. So for the sake of argument, we don't know how many have put them back on market. They don't have a year-to-date back on market number. How many of that 20,000 said, okay, I'm going to give it another shot? But it's not enough to absorb what I'm seeing in that. So how many of those folks do you think are going to come back in the fall, or are they going to wait until next year when they see significant changes?
That's a loaded question. I couldn't even begin to answer that. There's just no way to tell, Rick. I know there's a lot of sellers that felt like switching agents was going to be the fix all, and they don't realize that all the agents pretty much do the same thing except for some of that initial marketing. It's hard to say. I think maybe 20%, maybe. That'd be high, in my opinion.
And the catalyst for sellers coming back in is, obviously you're going to have to see not just a rate cut, but a significant improvement in mortgage rates, which, Pat, I mean, looking at fall, do you see that as even being a remote possibility that we're going to be at, let's say, 6.1 or lower?
It's certainly a possibility. I mean, right now, you're looking at mid sixes. So it really would not, the honest answer, a straight answer I have is it certainly would only take a week or two for rates to go from 6.5 to low sixes with any type of movement in the bond market. I mean, we've had movements. I mean, in the past, we've had movements of a half a point in a 3 week period where they, when they went up. Obviously, they don't go down as fast as they went up, but what we're seeing right now is just a slow treadmill type of interest rate movement where, okay, they move from 6 7/8 down to 6.5. So it wouldn't take much, honestly, but I don't know if that's going to be the biggest push. Let's face it, it'll get some people off the soapbox or whatever you want to call it, or off the treadmill,
off the bench,
off the bench. Yeah. My brain is not working, hasn't been working recently. But we've slowly, like I said, we were stuck in that 6 and 7/8, 7/4 range for so long, and they've just slowly, without any type of, with some news back and forth with the feds, the job market, we've slid into the 6.5 range. So all of a sudden, you have another slide that we had the last couple of months. All of a sudden, we go to 6.5 down to say 6.125. With a buy down, you can get into the high five. So, I mean, it's kind of working the way I've been kind of, talking about the last couple of months, that we might see this slow stair climb downward, which from my standpoint, it does create more stability versus having these crazy markets that we saw a couple of years ago where the bond market was up 70 or 80 basis points or down 70 or 80 basis points. Today, we saw a decent day on the market. The market's been reacting pretty positively the last couple of days, obviously depending on the job market tomorrow.
Yeah, we went from 6.53 last week on the average to 6.45 today. So it's definitely going in a lower direction. Of course, there's a lot of things that can happen to make it turn and go around the other way as well. But I mean, interest rates are the game that's being played. And here, this chart that I'm going to show you here is the one that I have all the time. That is my 7-day moving average, and with that big yellow or gold part, depending on your monitor, is a number of new listings. The dips are holidays, but the thing that always continuously sticks out to me is the number of contracts is just steady between 2650 and 2750 week after week. It hasn't changed. So when people make comments that go, seller activity is picking up, I just question it. I go, not my numbers. Now, Cromford folks have said that statistically we have seen an increase this past month in contracts. I think she said 6%, but I'm not seeing it when I look at it on a weekly basis. She added it up over a monthly basis. Tina Tambor also made the comment that said that we're still, the Cromford Market Index now, which is their main measure, kind of their forward-leaning chart, is down here at 79.3, and it's going to creep up to 80 this week. And the only reason I see it going up is because new listings have continued to go down. While that sales number stayed flat, new listings coming down, it's driving the CMI number up. Now, she said we're going to have to get at 90 in order to not see any more declines in prices. And that remains to be seen if that's going to happen.
Rick, it's interesting because normally right after Labor Day and this time of year, and this is year after year, no matter what kind of market that we're in, we start to see the inventory build back up again prior to the holidays. So if we don't see that happen, it's going to be very interesting on what happens.
Yeah, because if we don't see inventory start to build in the next couple of weeks, because, I mean, let's be honest, if you're going to list your home and you want it sold by Thanksgiving, you should be talking to somebody today. If we don't see that starting to come on board, it's actually going to be advantageous for the sellers that do make the move to list, because there's going to be less competition. Now, if we start seeing more and more listings coming on and the buyer traffic is sitting down there and hanging steady at 2,700, that's pricing pressure on the downside. There's more variety, more to look at. I get it. Affordability is still a stretch. I don't know when that's going to make a correction, how long that will take. Certainly the crash pros of the world are hoping it's going to happen tomorrow. But I'm not seeing anything that shows that that's going to go on. And when I look at the actual chart here that shows by city, and this is kind of a big eye chart here, but I'll see if I can make it a little bit bigger. They're ranking it by annual sales price per square foot, with Paradise Valley being 1, Scottsdale 2. That's always there. But look at the percentage change. Paradise Valley this year, 5.9% up. Here's Wickenburg down 2.7. Gilbert up 1.1. Mesa flat. And where is Sun Lakes here? Almost flat, 0.3. 0.2 for Queen Creek. So there aren't any huge dips down, are there?
No.
In fact, the worst performing one is Casa Grande. No, they're up 3. So it's Arizona City minus 1.9 and Maricopa 1.1.
What is that? That's the listing year over year list price?
This is the annual sales price per square foot for the year. Now, if you want detail for your area, either your city or your zip code, use the QR code right there. I'm trying to push.
You got it.
I'm like being the weatherman, you know. There's a front coming in. Where is it? You know, they stand and look at a green screen this way, and or a TV monitor, green screens behind them. I feel the same way here. Or if you don't want to scan the QR code, there's a link down below, and you can get a personalized zip code report for your area that will give you what I just showed you, but a lot more information in detail, kind of like this. But it won't be in this format. It'd be really easy to read. I say this, and then I don't show it to you. There we are. So this shows you active listings last month, last year in zip code 85254, pending listings, listing under contract. It's a lot of numbers, and you'll get that in a zip code report. And here's the sweet spot. Unlike Reventure Consulting that charges you $39.95 a month to have access to the data, you just asked me for the report, and it is free. And we've got what about Ahwatukee? Let's take a look and see what we can figure out in Ahwatukee. I think that's
Phoenix. Be considered Phoenix.
Yeah, it's like 85254. So if I can take a look at, let's look at the listing success rate. Well, that's not going to break it down there for me. By zip code. Let's see what I can find there. Appreciation. I'm dancing around here. Let me show you what I'm doing so I'm not just staring off into space here. Analysis by zip code. And I want to say sales prices, annual median. There we go. And let's pick out I think it's
85026 maybe?
85048, I think.
85046. I can tell you in a second.
Okay. Here's 85046, showing it just slightly below last year at 625 versus 630.
Of course, I said that and I can't find it.
Yeah, so they don't list it separately as Ahwatukee, like Pat said. They listed it as Phoenix. So
here's my zip codes. I do have it.
Oh man, all right.
Check that out.
Go there.
85042, 85048.
Okay, I got one of them right.
85044.
044.
Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah.
Okay, look at that. Flat to last year. So not a whole lot. There we go. We got 85044 right there. So flat to last year. If you just look at the annual median sales price, go ahead and click the link and ask for a zip code report, and I'll send you a lot more detail than this. You'll get it. You'll get it before the day's done. So Pat, my question to you is: interest rates are going down. The Fed hasn't done a thing. Why are they declining? And we know the answer, but tell me.
Well, what do I have to tell you if you know the answer then? But
because many in our audience don't.
You try to test my knowledge.
Yes.
I mean, I just think bottom line is I think the market, the 10-year Treasury is smarter than everybody out there, and you can see signals. You can always see signals with how the 10-year Treasury is trading, regardless of what the Fed's doing. Because I just think the 10-year Treasury is saying that we're seeing a softening labor market and just weak economic data that is out there. That, I mean, you get the payrolls have been weakening the last couple of months. Obviously the Fed, if they're starting to signal a shift here, but so that really bottom line is the economic. I think there's just an economic cooling that's underneath the market, the surface level that that's what the 10 years showing. I mean, as simple as that. I mean, there's so much you could do digging as far as interest rate, the money supply and this or that, but the 10-year is just a solid indicator of what's been going on. And it hasn't really, we haven't seen any surprises. I mean, matter of fact, if you look at, let me see here. If you look at this, look at the 10-year treasury the last year. I mean, we've been stuck. I mean, right here, this is a 5-year chart, but you look at how, once again, I've been saying this, I repeat myself how many times, a million times, but since August, really a 2-year channel that we've been stuck in this channel right here. But if you pull this back a year, you can see where we peaked out January 13th. The 10-year was 477. We're at 415 today. I mean, if you look at just being an observation, you look at the highs and the lows. It just feels, you look at this chart, it's kind of just this slight downward trend, if you can see. So I just think
there's really nothing in the pipeline that's going to make that change come fall.
No, I mean, and obviously, we are getting a little bit more attention now with the jobs. It's kind of coming to a focus point with the job reports that they've been coming out the last couple of months, the Fed. I think the job reports, the JOLT numbers came out yesterday, was weak. So, if we get a stronger jobs report tomorrow, which I don't think we will, obviously hurt rates a little bit, but we're still going to be stuck in that range. We could definitely see, you're going to see a lot of news tomorrow in the next week as far as what the Feds are going to do. But I just think there's a real possibility that we see lower rates. And I've been kind of pushing this. You've heard me say it, September and October, I think we'll see lower rates.
Well, I'm looking at the amount of people that are waiting for prices to come down, understandably. And to me, it's like, it's overwhelming. It's like, before the big crash that we had, there weren't all these people waiting. Everybody was participating. Everybody's buying 2 and 3 houses stuff.
Yep.
And now everybody's just, the demand is out there, like sitting in the bleachers.
Yep.
And I don't see them rushing back, but it tells you that they're there. I mean, if somebody tells me on the channel here, I'm waiting for things to crash, what my mind says is, well, so you're waiting. I mean, you want to buy, you're waiting, right, Jackie? I mean,
yes, absolutely. So I still, and let me just throw this disclaimer out there. I am in no way trying to tell people go out and buy a house right now. You should, no matter what the market is, somebody should buy a house when they're ready, they're comfortable, and they're in the position to buy a house.
Yeah.
Don't buy it based off the market. But I still believe, and I started saying this about 5 weeks ago, and you never know until we're about 6 months to a year out. I still feel like we're going to look back and say summer of 25 was the bottom. Now, maybe not in everywhere. There are some areas that I think could still be negatively affected, and those are the outskirts like Buckeye and Maricopa and places like that. But mind you, I just put a listing on the market in Buckeye. We priced exactly, if it shows well, it doesn't. And the people, I met with them back in March, and we went through the house. They had things they wanted to get done just to make sure there was no repairs, and it showed well. We met in March. We just listed it 2.5 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It was on the market for 4 days. We priced it exactly where it needed to be. There were comps at the 414 range, 410. We priced at 409. We had 3 people through the house the first weekend, 2 offers. And we got full price. Actually, yeah, we got full price on it. So we did have some concessions, but even the stuff in Buckeye, if it shows well and it's priced right, it'll sell. But if you let a listing age in Buckeye, there's too much competition, just like Surprise and, all of the Surprise is getting hit. Whitman's getting hit, but I listed a property out in Whitman. We sold that in a week, but we priced it right. So,
that's the key. I mean, there are sales being made. I had a comment on video I did last night. And it's like, guy goes, read the title and just came here to say there's no chance we're at the bottom.
I saw that.
We're just getting started. Rate cuts won't fix this, and that's good. Prices must adjust, and unfortunately, realtors will feel the pain. This is fair because of the money they made during COVID.
Oh my gosh.
Fair.
They think agents made a lot of money during COVID. There was a lot of agents that didn't make that much money because they couldn't get their contracts through.
No, I mean,
Exactly.
that time I felt bad for you guys because I had a buddy of mine right down here in Chandler, good friend of mine. He was an agent, and he kept getting listings up by you up in like Sun City, and he's like, I'm done taking people out, driving them 40, 50 miles, and all of a sudden I get to the house and there's 20 offers on the house. I'm not going to get the offer. So you guys there's a lot of agents chasing their tail in 2021.
Oh, yeah.
We were not making bank.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There were people selling. I mean, there were people but I'd say for a majority of them, they were just getting there's a lot of frustration because people were overbidding by 20 or 30, 40,000, and the average person just could not do that.
Well, believe it or not,
people like to see us fail. They don't like real estate agents. They're very quick on YouTube to go, you guys, okay.
Yeah, people got to get off that. I'm tired of that. I'm just going to PSA. I just you just kind of struck something. I'm just getting tired of people saying that. People, I've been in the business doing 25 years. Yeah, there's good agents, there's bad agents, there's good mortgage people, there's bad mortgage people. Just get off of that. You know what? If you get a good agent that's working hard, you guys work hard. Jessica, I know a number of agents. I'd say a majority of agents work very hard. They do a lot of chasing around. They do a lot of setup. They do to try to get something listed. Just get off of that argument. I'm just sick and tired of people.
Well, we showed 15,000 expired listings. That's 15,000 agents that listed the home, put the sign up, paid for the marketing, paid for the photography, put in untold hours of time trying to get the house sold, many trips back and forth, and didn't make a dime.
Right? Yeah. People don't realize. They truly don't sometimes.
Yeah, they don't. But anyway.
I didn't mean to start that. Sorry.
Well, I just, there's like anything. There's good, there's good doctors, bad doctors, good lawyers, bad lawyers, but,
Well, we did get a comment. Somebody followed up and said, so it's fair for realtors to not make money and support their family this year because rates dropped during the pandemic and everybody wanted to buy a house. What kind of twisted way of thinking is that? Well, I hope you make much less money this year.
Yeah.
Since you made money last year. Careful what you wish for on people. And when you're looking at a market crash, guess what else happens? We don't sell appliances. We don't sell furniture,
landscaping, roofing.
Yeah,
AC.
It affects
all the trades.
It's 30. Yeah. It's what 30. It's probably 20-25% of the economy.
Yeah. Now we're seeing some progress here in what I want to call our list pricing per square foot. See how that has come down this year? It's in at 530 or 333 compared to last year at 343. So it's down, the list pricing, but it tends to do that seasonally anyway, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Everybody gets optimistic in January. Now, going forward to September now, guess what? The optimism returns. List pricing will start to edge up a little bit. How long they're going to wait to feel the stickiness of that, and hang in there remains to be seen. I don't think this fall is going to have many surprises. And I also don't think the people that expired this year are going to jump in until next year.
Yeah.
No,
I agree. I mean, because you're looking at like you said, I mean, we're looking at September before we blink, it's going to be once we get to Halloween, I just say kiss the year goodbye.
Yeah, because it gets painfully slow after that. It's that's when we all do our continuing education, right, Jackie?
Well, we're trying to gear up for the following year. So actually that's a good time to start trying to work on getting new listings.
Yeah.
So
it is
for the beginning of the year, but
our days of inventory is starting to come down a little bit. You can see here, we peaked in April of 2025, and now we're down to, 111 days here of inventory. So that is a good number to look at if you're looking at listing. I guess the bottom line, and you just gave the illustration there in Buckeye, that despite all the bad news and everything that you're hearing, if you want to sell, it's not a monumental task.
No. And here's the other thing I'm seeing too, guys, is that if the home has some type of I don't want to say unique feature, but a special feature, for instance, a pool or a specific view, or that neighborhood maybe doesn't have quite as many on the I have a client that's he was looking for a property to put a workshop on. It's a viewer of ours, and he might be watching. We were looking for a specific type property, and I'll give a for instance, there was a listing in Scottsdale, had an amazing workshop. The house was only about 1,600 square feet. It had been on the market for, 3 months, maybe 4 months. And they had originally priced at $825. They came down to $800. We actually made an offer at $725 in the middle of the summer in July. This particular seller did not have to sell. And there was a lot of sellers that were like that. I'm going to test the waters because of what I heard my neighbor got back in 22. If they didn't get it, they didn't have to sell. This particular seller, he did not have to sell. The agent said his father was one of the GCs for that community. And if he sold it and got his price, great. If he didn't, no problem. So then we went to $750. We still didn't get it. And then we went back. We were going to offer $780. He got 2 cash offers, full price. But that was a week ago or a week and a half ago, because now we were coming out of the summer and starting to go into the season. And that property, I mean, it was just a 1,600 square foot house in Scottsdale, but it had a particular special thing to it, being the workshop. And now we've been looking, we can't find anything that's similar to that. So he's going to have to build the workshop. But
yeah, when you find that unique property, you really have to kind of weigh it and go, well, are there any others that are just like this that are out there? It's tough. And David here saying, I'm seeing a lot of $1 million plus homes hitting the market, some over 10 million. So let me filter that out here for you, David, and show you what I'm seeing. Let me filter the price here of over 1 million. And let's see chart wise what it's showing us. We're slightly higher. We took our seasonal dip down for the summer, where we're at 2,396 now versus 2,080. So you're seeing 300 more homes than last year, which is a small market in and of itself. But so that probably feels rather significant. If I go to, this is only going to let me show, it doesn't let me filter it out by year, it looks like.
Rick, what was the base price you put on that?
I put a minimum 1 million up to
Okay.
3 million and above.
Okay.
So nothing, you might be seeing more of them showing up, but it's not happening in droves. And of course, we all know that's all driven by the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of stocks.
All right, don't go there. Just let's move on.
No,
A sore subject with Pat.
This is really interesting. And I'm going to veer away from stocks and talk about why there's this investor guy that thinks Open Door is going to be the next greatest Uber of real estate. It's, their stock got down to 51 cents. And today, right now, on the overnights, after market, it's sitting here at $6.13. And because he's a hedge fund manager, he sank a bunch of money into it and said, this is an AI company and they need to take advantage of all the data that they have, and they will be the next Uber of real estate, and their stock will be worth $85. Now, I asked this, what does Open Door have as far as technology that's so wildly different that anybody else has?
I don't see it. I don't know. I don't see any.
I mean, the only thing, Jackie, that I saw they had was you could unlock the door with your phone.
Yeah.
And so they got your phone number and your name, right? That was it. So they have a database. And didn't they kind of get rid of that door lock thing? I've seen them use like lockbox.
Yeah, I've been seeing them use supers lately.
Yeah. And they're relying heavily on realtors now. But
for sure.
Okay, so they have perhaps more data than Coldwell Banker. Okay. But we have, when you list a house, we still have the data of the realtors that came to look at that house. So it's everybody gathers the data in a different way, but I don't see this push that says this is going to be this AI driven company that's going to revolutionize real estate. And so in the meantime, it's just a meme stock.
Yeah.
And, but, calling it the Uber, I mean, okay. Uber is just an app that says I can summon you to my house easier than a taxi, and you're an independent driver, and I can rate you and you can rate me. That's what made it change. I have an incentive to be a good passenger because they're going to rate me. So the other Uber, don't pick up Ricky's at 2. Now, real estate, there's just not a whole lot of things that you can do to consolidate to an artificial intelligence process. There are some things that are going to shorten a lot of things that we do, especially in the lending arena, especially in how we prepare documents. But I think from a consumer standpoint, I would say, buyer beware. Just because you can click and get the information quickly doesn't mean that's the best way to go.
It also doesn't mean it's correct.
Yeah, one of our loyal viewers, he's from Utah. He said he asked a question of ChatGPT and it spit out this wild number that he quoted to me. And I said, when I was researching artificial intelligence, I asked ChatGPT to give me a market report for July of 2025. And guess what they said? Currently, an inventory shortage, multiple offers being accepted on houses above list price. July sucked.
Yeah, for sure. I went last year because, a lot of people know I was off for almost a year with my shoulder. And when I started coming back, I went and I was looking at my history on how it appeared on the external sites. And in a 24-month period of time, I found 23 mistakes that the external sites had, either listings that I was not part of, that I was part of, or sales that I was not part of that I was, or the price was wrong, or the duration was wrong. There was 23 mistakes I found in a 24-month period of time, which is a lot. The one that was the most accurate was Realtor.com.
Well, but that's all fed off the MLS anyway. So is it?
Is
it
there's
the
still
aggregator,
mistakes.
or is it? But it's just, we're supposed to be self-policing. If we see a mistake, we're supposed to notify the other agent, say, hey, or report them. I don't like to report them. I just like reading out the agent going, looks like you missed a digit.
Well, but
there's really only $20,000.
There's something that happens though. For instance, I've got a property listed in West Wing right now. It's at 750. And when we first put it on the market, and when we hit the market, we hit like big time. We make sure everything is absolutely perfect. That first 24 to 72 hours is your biggest eyeballs. And so my seller reached out to me and she said, Jackie, don't you think we should have on there the dishwasher and the disposal and this? And there was like a list of items of 10 things. And I'm like, it's all on there. I sent her a copy of the listing from MLS. I'm like, I wouldn't, especially simple things like that. I wouldn't have missed it. I'm like, they're all on there. But when I went to Zillow, they were all missing.
Yeah,
and a couple days later, they were there. It's bizarre.
Yeah, well, we go through List Hub, right? List Hub is a service that feeds all the other. So, I mean, I listened to an agent. I was at a class, and she was complaining that this brokerage was showing her listing on their website without her permission. Wow, you really don't understand how List Hub works, do you? They don't have my name on it or anything. It goes through, List Hub, and it shows up on everybody that has a website. Everybody. So
yeah. I mean, people wonder why, you're with Century 21. Why is my listing showing on a Caldwell Banker agent? Well,
because that's what you want.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
I don't understand the agents, because I used to get calls. I used to do a lot of advertising, get calls. Why are you advertising my listing? I said, oh, you don't want me to help you find a buyer?
Right.
I mean, I'll pull the ad. I didn't advertise your house. I advertised houses with pools in that zip code. Yours showed up. So I can filter that out if you want.
Yeah, right.
But tell me why you don't want me to find you a buyer. I thought that's what this industry did.
Yeah.
We worked together. And I'm laughing because my brother sent me a text. He goes, nice background. I'm at his house.
Oh, how funny. You did a show last year at his house. I think you
2
had
years
that
ago.
same, oh,
Two,
3
2 years.
years.
Yeah,
2
time
years
flies
ago.
when you're having fun. So
I lost a year. I don't know
yeah.
what happened for that year.
So did I.
Yeah, that's true.
We both
Thank
did.
God you're doing good now.
So we both we're going to take 2024 and just write that off and half of 2025. But and hey, we did get somebody ask for a zip code report, so I'll get that right out right after the show. So I think you'll like it. And for those of you that have already requested a zip code report from me, just you can shoot me an email or just go into that same email where you got that report and reply to it through my system asking for an update. I just emailed everybody this morning my September market update that went out to everybody that requested a zip code report, but that's for the entire general market. It's about 8 pages, so it's a decent read. So I try to come out with that once a month at a minimum. I don't want to fill up your inbox, but you can always just email me and say, please, for the love of God, Rick, stop. But I hope you find them interesting.
It's always good stuff, though.
But so Jackie, when you're looking ahead now and you're looking at fall, I know the buyer's activity picks up kind of a little bit, but I think we're just starting to get euphoric because now we can go out and get in and out of our car without melting. So it just feels more fun.
We've been consistently busy, though, honestly.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of agents said in the last 2 years have said that they're having their best years. And like I said, we've been consistently busy, but I think there's a lot of agents out there that are just really confused by this market, and they don't know what to do, which is really hard. If your agent doesn't know what to do, then you're kind of in a pickle.
There was an agent that came on with us when I was at EXP, and they wanted me to work with her, and she got her license and everything. And I get on a call with her and she goes, so what's the market like today? And I go, okay, that's where we're going to start.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to be in this business, that should roll off your tongue,
Yeah, like somebody called me and said, well, the typical question you always ask, what's your rate?
What's your rate? Yeah.
Yeah. What,
but then I have to do the backfilling questions. Like, every time I get, I know you and I joke about that, but I'm not trying to avoid that question. It's just that question is there's a lot to it. So
a lot of variables.
Yeah.
People don't understand that.
That's what the average person, it's like they just see rates quoted, like, okay, what's your rate? And like, what kind of prop? Well, I'm looking at buying a condo, looking at putting, 10% down. It's a jumbo condo and
a jumbo condo.
It's just, you just start getting into, or it's a manufactured house, USD. It's just, there's so many variables. Yeah. It's kind of funny. But
Jackie, here's last year and this year. Look at these 2 lines below here. This is sales per year. And we didn't budge off of last year until starting in the middle of May.
Is that this year, last year?
But,
2 lines together?
Yeah.
Where is the crash in those 2 years? It's a crash in transactions. Exactly. And still through all of this, and I think it's just going to be some more of the same.
Yeah.
And that's what I expect going forward. There's going to be people that have to transact. There's, death, marriage. Some people don't want to scale down right now. Some people have to scale up. I mean, there's always something. Job transfers. We've had a lot of people with job transfers.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's going to be way out of bounds any direction.
No, it's funny. Well, you talked about that, Rick, earlier, a couple minutes ago, about how obviously there's the shadow, we've been talking about the shadow buyers. I think the buyers that are on the fence are just waiting for that one, like, okay, now we got to buy. And it just hasn't been there the last year. It's just been this,
It's not. I just don't see it. I mean, even Tina Tambour mentioned this week, she goes, the thing about waiting for a bottom, she goes, you don't know it's a bottom until you've already been through it.
Right.
Well, what's our
Oh,
favorite
You can
saying?
sense it.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Well,
truly sense it right now. There's people that are wanting to buy homes that those homes have sat on the market for 2 or 3 months. And you guys know we've had it happen with numerous people lately, and suddenly the properties are gone.
yeah.
yeah. And like you said, if you're looking for a unique property, you really can't play around too much in that market. I mean, if you're looking at just a cookie cutter house in say Mesa or or track home, yeah, you can. But if you're
Track
looking,
home, perfect example.
yeah, if you're looking for, if you've got, like you said, Jackie, a couple minutes ago, if you got somebody that's got, I want this, these three factors I want, and that's the only thing. No HOA, this and this and this. If you do see something, you really gotta take time to figure out, okay, what if I miss out on this property?
Yeah.
What's my opportunity cost of waiting another 6 or 7 or 8 months before something like that comes across the table?
Yep.
Well, I think, now when does the Fed meet again this month? Is it the 15th or something like that? Is it
Yeah.
next
Well,
week?
there's a big September 11th is a CPI. I think it's the 15th. Yeah, September 15th, the Fed meets again. So there's gonna be some. I just, like you said, this is kind of boiling down to September and October. As I said about 3 or 4 months ago, I think these could be a couple good data point months as far as how we're gonna come. Things are kind of come to roost with the Federal Reserve. They're gonna crap or get off the pot.
Well, but even if they do make a move down, the bond market's going to go, yeah, okay.
They already
Yeah.
did
Well, I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing
I
is,
got
I
one.
mean, like, look at the Fed. The last time they did, the mortgage rates went up actually. So, but I think there is going to be the 10. That's why my focus has been the 10-year Treasury, watching how that's trading.
Here's our contract ratio. It shows here statistically we're in a cold market, 30.8. But this hasn't updated. This will get better next week, probably just because our inventory has dropped so low. I mean, did anybody really think we were going to be in the 23,000 range this time of year? We were up at 25,000, 26,000. Normal's 27,000. We're down here at 23. What's it say down there at the bottom? They're actively 23,518. That'll go up by about 200 tomorrow, but I certainly didn't see. I thought we'd kind of flatten out. I didn't think we'd continue to.
I thought we'd go down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You've
And I
just
think
been
I
riding
said,
on so many things lately.
no, I'm not.
We're going to have to buy you a plaque. The Jackie's Right Award.
It's just being around for way too long. 36 years as of August.
Well, that's why I like referring you clients. I mean, you know how to bring it home. So I added something else in the link down below. There's a little thing you can fill out. Like if you're a buyer, you can fill it out and say, what price range are you looking for? When are you thinking of buying? Have you got financing? It's a little fun thing to play with. But and there's even a spot down there to buy me a cup of coffee.
I love it.
That's happened once. So
did it? That's awesome though that somebody did that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Maybe if you put buy me a beer, you'll get more.
That could happen. Well, the couple that you're working with, they attended our live event that we had in Chandler about 3-4 years ago. And
I wasn't there, remember? For some reason I couldn't be there.
Yeah, but
Ruby was there.
But they met a couple that I knew that lived in Sun Lakes, and they took them out and toured Sun Lakes with them and showed them what it was like. And so they decided that wasn't the direction they wanted to go. But I thought, well, that's pretty neat. She reached out. She knew I was out of town, so she wanted to reach out to you. And so they, attended one of our live events, and it's fun, even on comments that I see on the live shows that we do now, just recognizing a lot of names like Monty Singleton, who lives up in Utah. I said, hey, I might be coming through Utah, so let me know if we can have coffee. So I still don't have a departure date yet. Got a few things I want to do while I'm up here. So,
but I don't know if a lot of people know the way we got connected was I used to watch your show all the time. I watched you and Pat for probably a year, and it started during COVID. It's like it was a quick, easy way to get the numbers without having to like sign on and do my own research. I'm like, there's this guy, Rick and Pat's funny. And so I'm
Well,
just going to get my numbers that way.
You would always make
It
comments
was
on
getting
the
a little creepy
channel.
how much you were stalking us there for a while.
Yeah, we used to have sidebar meetings about all the time. So we,
Do what?
It was getting kind of creepy how you were kind of stalking us there for a while.
I felt like I was, and then I started like answering some questions or something. But
yeah, so we called you our senior analyst.
Yeah.
Yes, I like the senior part, not. But it was, the reason I bring that up is because I appreciated that, especially back then. It was like there was so much fear mongering going on.
Yeah. Oh.
With COVID, and it was like, hey, there's this guy I can sign on, and he's just giving me the numbers. That's all I want. And so that, and then I watched you for a year before I even made a comment.
Yeah, and then we decided to meet for lunch, and you brought Ruby, and I said, we got to have them both on the show. This will be fun. So
yeah.
So I just told Pat, hey, Pat, I got to tell you what, we got to have her on the show. Don't tell Hillary.
What is this with your Bill Clinton lately?
It's the only imitation I can do. I outside of Mr. Magoo.
Oh, funny.
I used to do that in my late 20s. I phoned into a radio show and won an omelet pan. But if rates are lowered due to the economy, won't banks just use that rate to borrow cheap money and buy 5% yields instead of lending in fear of a market crash? So no more expensive to borrow money for people. What do you think, Pat?
I don't, that's kind of a deep question. I mean, that's a big, the federal fund rates, if rates are lowered, the federal fund rate is obviously money that the banks borrow overnight. So I don't know. I really, it's a big question.
There's so many moving parts. You not only have the overnight rate.
That's the thing. That's the thing. To nowadays, there's so many moving parts to the economy that you got. Back in the day, the Econ 101 books I studied. Now you got tariffs. You've got that we saw COVID. We saw $14 trillion. The liquidity went from 10 trillion to 14 trillion. I mean, we got so much more liquidity in the market. So there's so many things that really has just washed out the old Econ 101 books. I couldn't really give you an answer. I mean, I'd be lying if I told you I knew the exact answer to that. I mean, it just depends. They can do some things in terms of, the banks can, obviously from a federal regulatory standpoint, what they got in deposits, loosening it up. They're talking. I think Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, I will give him kudos. I think the guy is a very smart guy, and I think he's going to do what's right, for the general economy. I mean, Yellen was driving me nuts, not to get political, but I couldn't stand looking at that hairdo. I couldn't stand looking at that hair. Oh God. I
just think, I kind of shudder a little bit now that they're about to announce some things that they're going to do to help housing, and I just stay out of it. I mean, I'm okay. Help us with the regulations and the permitting, and
that would be great.
Help us with lumber prices. That's just a skiff with Canada. I mean, I'm okay, but even that, I mean, so let's say you get all that done, you're not going to feel any of that for at least a year and a half.
Yeah.
At least.
I mean, they gotta get all these things in place, and so it's gotta move down through the pricing of new builds. That has to sort itself out. And I was talking to my niece. I was over visiting her the other day, and she's telling me about her development where she's at. And I think it was Lennar. She goes, we bought our house and then they cut the base price by $100,000. She said, but she goes, now they're leaving the base price where it is. She goes, we got air conditioning because all the houses don't come with AC up here. She says, we got air conditioning. We got a landscaping package. We got all of these things that they no longer offer now. So some of the new build communities are paring back on what they're giving you. Terry, long time no see. I saw green shoots over a septic tank. Is that a sign? Terry's back.
Hi, Terry.
Terry comes from out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Mr. Doom and Gloom.
Well, he's a great guy.
I love it. Good old Terry. I love people interact.
And Debbie's back. question.
This is Debbie. This is my favorite Debbie up Northwest Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think love her. I love talking to Debbie. Yeah,
She's
we've had
asking
some
how
good
much lower
conversation.
than your existing mortgage rate should the refi rate be to make sense to do it? No cash out.
There's a lot of people have say, oh, what the 1% rule of thumb. Well, if you got it, if you got $150,000 loan and you lower your rate from 7.5 to 6.5, there's really that you can't use the rule of thumb. You got to look at the loan amount. I basically look at when I do a refinance, I want to make a dent. A lot of mortgage people get excited now that rates have gone from say 6 7/8 down to 6.5 to basically refinance people, and they get caught in this what I call churning. Let's refi now, and if they go lower, we'll refinance again. No, my goal is to watch rates. People pay me for my expertise, like so-called expertise in watching rates. That's why I have not been on the big bandwagon of refinancing anybody yet, because they've gone from 6 7/8 down to 6.5. There's people are probably maybe in the mid sevens that could maybe do it, but conscious from my frame of mind, if I think rates are going to go lower, why would I call someone to refi them right now to say let's do a refinance when they could be a quarter or 3/8 or half a point lower in the next couple of months? But
and be aware of the postcards and letters that you're getting from some lenders now saying, I can save you $1,000 a month. All right.
Yeah. I'm doing a mailer. I'm doing a mailer.
Cost me?
I'm doing a mailer right now. I'm sending mailers out just for giggles, just to test, I'm kind of doing it the old fashioned way. It says, hey, if you're in the high 6s, low 7s, my mailer basically says, don't do anything right now, but let's just watch the market. Let's set a target rate. Let's talk, where would it make sense for you to do a refinance, whether it's 5 7/8, 5 3/4, 6, 5.5. But I mean, but the larger the loan, bottom line is, if it's going to typically cost you a couple thousand, $3,000-$4,000, depending. I mean, we don't have any underwriting fees or processing fee, but you got title fees, you got appraisal. If I could save somebody $300 a month and it costs them $3,000 to refinance, let's say it's 10 months. If you can make your break point typically a year and a half or less, that is awesome. It boils down to just talking to somebody that is going to give you the real numbers, because a lot of times we're going back talking about fake stuff you see on the internet. A lot of these people get these offers from these online saying, oh, our rates are 3.99, but you look at that fine print and they're using $25,000 to buy your rate down.
Or Pat, the other thing is too, which I just wanted to throw this out there. They'll say, refi for $599 total cost. Well, but they're not telling you all the costs that they're building into your loan. And that, I hate seeing that. There's
no such thing as a free refi. There is no, anytime you hear a free refi, you are being lied to.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a free refi. Let me repeat that 150 million times. I mean, their companies are not doing it because they are just born by, the right hand of God, and they just want to do the right thing. They're making money. So, but I mean, bottom line is, you want to talk to somebody that is reputable, that is going to give you, you guys know me. I break it down. I'll give them the rate stack and show them. I'll email. I'll do a snippet. Here's your rates. Here's where we can. Here's what we're looking at. I love being transparent. It makes me feel good when I can tell. So hey, I'll show you the rates. Let's get on a call and I'll send it out to you and we'll talk about how far you want to buy it down, because there's always that rate stack that does. Once a rate gets to a certain point, it doesn't make sense to buy it down any further. So, but you want to get with somebody that's reputable, that's going to give you the straight word. But bottom line is, if you can recoup your refinance costs, typically they say 2 years or less, and you're going to be in the house 5 years. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
same with buying.
a guy a realtor on Facebook is touting the 1 year. If you refinance, marry the house, date the rate, in 1 year we'll refinance at no charge. I just want to call them out, but I don't. It's like, Recent home purchase got over $21,000 in concessions for closing costs, flooring, and paint. Houses that need work are not moving. That's right. If people want turnkey, possible decent deals for houses that need some TLC. They don't even want to paint.
Yeah.
And it's you got purple walls, you're going to hold on to that house. They don't want to paint. Unless you like purple walls, then
Unless it has a special feature that's not common.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I think you have a refinancing calculator on your website, Pat, with pricemortgage.com that people can look at and kind of walk through. And then there's a million of those.
Oh, there's a million of them. Well, the thing of it is, you could compare. I mean, I'm not telling people to call me. I would love to have a million calls, but call somebody because you want to be able to talk to somebody. You want to be able to compare something. If you see a rate, okay, I'm going to compare this to what? Okay, what do we got? Like I said, being a mortgage broker, I can compare your rate. We got 130. Any mortgage broker's got access to a number of different lenders. And, there's one lender that might be 4 or 5 slots down in my loan sifter. I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, they're pricing, a little bit better than the top lender. So, and it boils down to two, because speed, I always say price, service, and speed. Pick 2 out of 3 because you can't have all 3. It's just because people, I have a lot of lenders that are, that I get emails for people like, our pricing. If I see the top price lender, typically I don't go there right away because they're trying to drum up the business. The lenders that are really busy and good won't price maybe quite as good. They're maybe a tad off, but they're going to get the job done in, say, 7-8 days. They can close it in 7-8 days. There's a lot of stuff you have to look for when you're pricing on a loan.
Yeah, you'll look at one.
That's great. You guys know that I take that. I take pride in looking at that. All those factors.
They go, this lender's great, but they just don't answer their phone.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's what happens with these online. I tell you, if I had a dollar bill for the last 25 years, I had people that went online, and it's not all the time. Don't get me wrong. There's obviously exceptions to the case, but you get an online lender, you don't know who you're talking to. You could be talking to some guy. Typically, you're talking to somebody in India.
That happens. Well, all eyes and ears are going to be on the central bank next week, and
not tomorrow. Job tomorrow.
Okay.
The job market, the jobs reports tomorrow, and then we get the CPI coming out September. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I think we're going to see some activity in the bond market tomorrow.
It won't be much, will it? I mean, they've already kind of factored in where they think the job market's coming in. So that's why rates have gone from 6.54 to 6.45. So maybe it's already baked in the cake. So unless the job numbers come in really bad, and then how much, when are the job numbers going to be accurate anyway? They're going to revise it in 3 months.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think overall, like Jackie was saying, like I said, psychology. I just feel like we're ready for the rates to even move a little lower. There's nothing that in the tea leaves that say the rates are going to go from, the 10 years going to go from 4.15 to the high, 4.75 or 4.80 or 5%. The trend is always your friend
until the end.
You can't fight the trend.
Well, guys, it's good chatting with you. I'm watching your weather closely down there. You got that hurricane off of Mexico that's supposed to throw some water on you starting today and maybe into the weekend. But we always see this in September. Here it comes, going to get really wet, and it just kind of spits on your windshield and goes away. And
we had some good rain last night.
Yeah, rain's buckets. So I spent the Labor Day weekend in the outskirts of the rainforest. So we just kind of had some drizzle from time to time and had to put on a coat and but had a good time playing a lot of cornhole and hanging out with some cool cousins and stuff, and so it was fun. But I'm still here at least 3 times a week, and we'll continue to do that. I'm kind of parked at a house here right now, but I'll be back in the RV over the weekend and having a great time. So it's good to still be able to hook up with you guys and keep this show going. And if anybody, again, I encourage you to go ahead and request a zip code report or a market report, or just simply fill out and say, can you tell me this? And it could be anything about your market, and I'll dig up the information and send it to you in an easy to read report. And I don't charge you $39 a month. So You know where that data comes from? That where this gentleman's charging $39 a month?
From
Zip code is
agents.
Zillow.
Yeah. Which
It's a Zillow
ultimately
feed.
from agents.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, okay. So, I mean, you know, whatever.
But his
floats your boat.
interpretation is just ridiculous.
Yeah. It's, but he's got a,
everybody's perception is
got
a
a good
reality.
PR person.
Hey, thanks for having me today. I've missed you guys.
You betcha. Eagles or Cowboys tonight?
Eagles.
Eagles. My Packers are looking good, boy. I'm telling you, I'm pumped up. Micah Parsons, baby, here he comes.
Oh, I'm in Peoria. Is that Debbie? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in North Peoria. Alora Vita, 75th and Jomax. We had a lot of rain last night.
Well, cool. Well, guys, see you probably in a couple weeks. So
thanks for watching, everybody. Debbie and Terry and
millions
people
and millions of viewers.
Millions and millions
All right.
and millions.
See you guys.
See you guys.